You know what billionaires are buying? Gold, Bitcoin, real estate, stocks. Everyone knows this. Financial media covers it obsessively. Gold hits $4,000 an ounce. Every outlet screams that hedge funds are piling in. Bitcoin approaches $100,000. Suddenly, the ultra-wealthy are diversifying into crypto. Real estate surges, and we're told billionaires are snapping up properties left and right. This is the public narrative. The mainstream story, the assets everyone talks about, everyone analyzes, everyone thinks they understand. But here's what they don't tell you. While the financial media obsesses over gold and Bitcoin, while retail investors chase the same assets the billionaires bought 5 years ago, the ultra-wealthy have already moved on. They're quietly accumulating 3 assets you've probably never heard of. Assets so obscure most financial advisors couldn't even explain them. Assets so essential they will become more valuable than gold when the system finally breaks. And they're doing it silently. No press releases, no CNBC interviews, no tweets. Just systematic, relentless accumulation through shell companies, private deals, and legal structures designed to hide ownership. Today I'm going to show you exactly what these 3 assets are, why billionaires are loading up on them right now in 2025, and most importantly, how you can get exposure to the same assets without needing $1 billion. This isn't about copying rich people. This is about understanding where real value concentrates when currencies fail, when supply chains collapse, when the financial system that's held everything together for 80 years finally cracks. Let's start with the first asset. And yes, it's going to sound boring. But boring is exactly what makes it priceless. Asset hash 1. Farmland. Not just any farmland, specific farmland in specific regions with very specific characteristics most people completely miss. And the person who's accumulated more of this asset than anyone else in America is someone you know very well, Bill Gates. As of 2025, Bill Gates owns approximately 275,000 acres of American farmland. That's not a typo. 275,000 acres, that's larger than the entire city of Los Angeles. Roughly the size of Hong Kong. One man now owns more private farmland than anyone else in the country. He's been buying systematically since 2013. But here's the key. Gates isn't buying random dirt. His largest holding, Louisiana, nearly 70,000 acres in the Mississippi River Delta. Why? Richest topsoil in North America, unlimited river water, and one of the longest growing seasons in the U.S. Some fields produce 2 full crop cycles per year. Second biggest holding, Arkansas, 48,000 acres of prime rice and soybean land with direct access to the Arkansas River. Third, Nebraska, land sitting directly above the deepest, most rechargeable part of the Ogallala Aquifer, the largest underground freshwater reserve in North America. Then Washington State in the Columbia River Basin, Florida citrus land. Every single purchase follows the exact same pattern. 1. Irreplaceable soil quality. 2. Guaranteed long-term water access from rivers or deep aquifers. 3. Climate that supports multiple harvests or premium crops. Gates isn't so buying this land to farm today, he's securing control of food production capacity for when climate shifts and global supply chains break down. And he's still buying. In June 2025, his firm paid $131. $4 million for another 8,800 acres in Washington. $16,000 per acre. 4 times the national average because it came with full mineral rights and senior water rights. Which brings me to the second asset billionaires are hoarding, asset hash 2, water rights. Not water itself, the legal right to use water. In the western United States, water rights are separate from the land. You can own 1 million acres and have 0 right to the water beneath it. These rights follow a prior appropriation. First in time, first in right. The oldest claims, mostly from the 1800s, get water first, no matter what. And these rights can be bought, sold, and transferred separately from the land. When water gets scarce, whoever holds senior rights decides who gets water, and at what price. Boone Pickens figured this out decades ago. He bought land over the Ogallala Aquifer in Texas. Not for the dirt, for the water rights. Enough to supply a city of 1 million people. Sold a portion to cities for $103 million. Still sits on rights worth over $500 million today. Wall Street firms like Water Asset Management are now doing the same in Colorado, Arizona, and California, buying farmland just for the attached senior water rights. The Resnick family, owners of Wonderful Pistachios and POM, control the largest water bank in California, built with taxpayer money, and sell drought water at massive markups. Even the Mormon Church outbid Bill Gates in 2021 for Eastern Washington farmland because it came with ironclad Columbia River water rights. The pattern is undeniable. Water rights in the West are being consolidated into fewer and fewer hands. And every climate model says demand is going up while supply is going down. You can live without oil. You cannot live without water. Now, the third asset, this one is truly obscure. Most people have never heard of it. Most advisors can't spell it. But in 2025, the ultra-wealthy are piling in at record speed. Asset hash 3, catastrophe bonds, or a CAT bonds for short. Here's how they work. Insurance companies issue these bonds to offload extreme disaster risk. Investors put up money, say $500 million. That money sits in safe treasuries. The insurer pays you a fat premium, usually 5–14% above treasuries. If no major hurricane, earthquake, or wildfire hits the covered area, you get your money back plus the juicy yield. But if a predefined catastrophe happens and insured losses cross a threshold, poof, your principal goes straight to the insurance company. You lose everything. Sounds crazy, right? Who would take that bet? Pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, and billionaires, because the returns are insane and completely uncorrelated to the stock market. 2024 average return on CAT bonds, 17.4%. 2023, 19.8%. While the S&P 500 crashed 15% in early 2025 from tariff chaos, CAT bonds went up 1%. Tariffs don't cause hurricanes. Recessions don't trigger earthquakes. This is true diversification. The CAT bond market just crossed $50 billion in 2025, up 50% in 5 years, with a record $23 billion issued in the last 12 months alone. Big players, CalPERT, Canadian Pensions, Swiss Re, Munich Re, PIMCO, BlackRock, all allocating billions. Why now? Climate change is driving more frequent severe disasters. Traditional reinsurance can't keep up. So the risk is moving to capital markets, and investors are being paid handsomely for taking it. So let's connect the dots. Why these three assets? Farmland with permanent water access, water rights, catastrophe bond. Common thread, scarce, you can't make more. Essential, food, water, disaster protection, inflation-proof. They rise when currencies fall. Disaster-resistant. They either produce through crises or literally pay you because of crises. These aren't get-rich-quick plays. These are civilization-level wealth preservation assets. So how do you get in without being a billionaire? 1. Farmland Right Arrow Public Rate. Farmland Partners, FPI, Gladstone Land, Right Arrow Fractional Platforms, Acre Trader, Farm Together, invest in specific farms from $15.50. 2. Water Right Arrow Water Utilities, American Water Works, AUK Right Arrow Infrastructure, Xylem Right Arrow ETF, Invesco Water Resources, FO 3. Catastrophe bonds, Right Arrow Mutual Funds, Interval Funds, Stone Ridge Reinsurance Risk Premium, Shrix, Pioneer Cat Bond Fund, Right Arrow Swiss Recat Bond Index ETF. Coming soon. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy anything. I'm showing you what the smartest, richest people on the planet are quietly accumulating in 2025 and giving you legal, accessible ways to follow the same trend. Bill Gates didn't become America's largest farmland owner by accident. Boone Pickens didn't stumble into $500 million of water rights. Pension funds didn't accidentally allocate billions to cat bonds. They see something coming that most people don't. When you see billionaires systematically buying boring assets no one else cares about, pay attention. They're not positioning for next year. They're positioning for the day everything else stops working. And on that day, the person who controls food, water, and risk transfer will be far wealthier than the person holding stocks, bonds, or cash in a currency that no longer matters. That's not fear-mongering. That's pattern recognition. Every reserve currency in history has ended. Every single time the people who saw it coming moved into real, scarce, essential assets years in advance. 2025 feels a lot like that moment. Whether you act is up to you.